I tried to make this video outside in the rain while I was playing where I discovered it, but it was too difficult. The rain seems to, it made the phone video stop. What I discovered, I've said it before, but now it's really implanted, is that man is a tree of life. He's a tree. And his body is like a tree, and the tree is circular. You see? And so it's a round, but it's horizontally round. And that's the way the sephirots are, and that's the way the chakras are. Always remember that when we see them in a three-dimensional paper, they show the chakras as this way, and the sephirot is this way. But because you can't depict it in its true state, which is this way, horizontally circular. And so these sephirots and chakras are horizontally circular, like the circling of the shoulders or the circling of the hips and the circling of the head. And the way the tree is working, and the way the limbs come off the circular tree. The arms come off the tree as limbs. And this is very important here because there's it's just one dimension here. Now, what I've done is that I've now shown how the 7 chakras are on the tree of life. And because there's the center pillar of Keter, Tiferet, Yesod, and Malchus, and those are 4. And then there's 3 others that fill in. And these 3 others that fill in are comprised of the right and left as units. Like, we're going to go from the bottom here, hips. Because the hips work together. The Netzach and Hod work together. And we have a pelvis kind of feeling in the pelvis of a circular, in a horizontal manner. So that's a perfect illustration for it. So Netzach and Hod are the 2 hips. They're connected by the letter Mem in the tree of life. It's only one sephirot. It's only one chakra. Netzach and Hod come together as one. Then we have Tiferet, which is 1, and then Hesed and Gevurah. Hesed and Gevurah, the right and the left shoulders and arms, they're really only 1. And this is very important for me because, I believe in bimanual people, ambidexterity, so to speak. And these 2 things go together as one. And it's easy to see it in the feet that they go together as one because everybody walks, naturally with the feet together. But there's a separation up in the hands, and so we right-handed or left-handed and doing the right hand and left hand. In the feet, it's not like that. You walk; it's an automatic thing. And as you get further up, you get more delineated. And so this chakra is between Netzach and Hod. Hesed and Gevurah. And then the highest unit is between Chokmah and Bina, and they go together like father and mother, and that's 1. And technically, that's the second chakra. The third eye here. The Chokmah and Bina, which is the comprising of the 2 shins on the tefillin, and it comes together, and it's one. It's a shin, and that's the letter of Sefer Yetzirah, of the union of Chokmah and Bina. And so there are 7 here, and 7 chakras, and seven basically, in a tree of life, there's 7, it's not really 10 Sephirot. In my opinion, these come together. Now, wait till you hear this. I did the gematria of these parallels of Chokmah and Bina and Hesed and Gevurah and Netzach and Hod, and I added them. So Chokmah and Bina is 140, Hesed and Gevurah is 288, and Netzach and Hod is 163. That comes out to be 521, and then you add the 22 letters that they comprised of in the spellings, and that comes out to be 613, and that just so happens to be the commandments. So when you're dealing in these 3 parallels, in the right and left in the head, the right and left in the arms, that obviously circle around, see? Circle round. And the Netzach and Hod that circles round in the hips. And then what happens is there's a line that comes down, very much like the spine, comes down. And you circle round that spine that comes down, that's the kav, when they're talking about it. And it pierces. And that kav pierces these circular centers. And that's how you get pierced. That's how energy flows up and down the ladder. Ladder not being later, but not the latter, but the ladder. And while I was playing tennis with this understanding of the circularity, and spiraling up, spiraling up because I have a weighted object and I have to put over a net, I realized that the breathing of a hit has to be through the nose, as I've said, but I'm making this now a hissing sound, saying, and that's the hissing of the snake. And that's the Nahash. That's on the out-breath, the hiss comes. In a certain sense, the in-breath is automatic. If you do an out-breath, there's a vacuum. Depending on who you follow for breath of fire, they go. No. Just the out-breath. And there's an in-breath automatically. And that's the way I'm doing it in the tennis now. So I make a sound, but you know how all these people make a sound through their mouth in the tennis? No, the mouth is not used for the breathing. The nose is used for breathing. And the body is constructed to do the effort that the nose can breathe for. This is the Nahash in my symbol. And the Nahash is the same gematria as Mashiach. And remember that the Nahash has the root of Kayin. So the Nahash, some of the serum, some of the semen of the Nahash was mixed with Adam, and that's what made Kayin, and that's what made Kayin different than Hevel. So when you breathe through your nose and you're doing breath of fire, you're doing the Nahash, the snake. And that's the real secret of Kundalini, serpent power. And that's what I use in the tennis now. And it's a real consciousness builder because you're building into the Nahash. And Nahash is, in these right and lefts and left and right and front and back that I just expressed the parallelisms for, you have to have the Nahash and the Mashiach in the same kind of consciousness. The other thing I want to say, because I was out in the pouring rain, and I remembered over 40 years ago when I was playing a tournament in Gstaad in Switzerland. Krishnamurti was giving lectures there at that same time in Saanen, which was a few miles outside of Gstaad. And I think I was still, I don't know if I was still in the tournament or not, but we were staying there. And it was pouring rain. Pouring rain. Like it was today, thundering and rain. And so we went to the car and had a friend with us that I knew from here, man, esoteric guy. And we're going and we take the travel to Saanen, and actually on the road it was pouring. I see a woman, one of the most beautiful young girls I ever saw in rain attire, walking in the rain to go to Krishnamurti, who was, Krishnamurti was considered, and he's dead many years, but, a great guru, although he said he wasn't a guru. But, an enlightened man. And so we go there, and we're all sitting in them, and then it's a big tent in Saanen. It was gorgeous, the whole thing. And pouring rain on the outside. And we're all sitting there waiting, and he comes in. A lot of people, thousands of people in this huge tent. And he comes in and he says, "I'd like to thank you all for coming on such a miserable day." He lost me right there. He lost me. And the reason he lost me, I rethought of it this morning while I was playing out in the rain, in the elements, in nature. Breathing through my nose, hitting the ball, being a tree. Man is a tree of life. Man's a tree of the field. Trees don't complain about rain. That girl that was walking there from miles from Gstaad to Saanen didn't complain about rain. And he says, "I'd like to thank you all for coming on such a miserable day." You mean rain is miserable weather? He lost me. So whatever else he said was, social, societal, not attuned. And if you hear his stuff now, quite frankly, he wasn't attuned. And I said to my friend later, this esoteric, who was very well founded in esoterics, I said to him, when Krishnamurti said that about the rain, he lost me. He said, I was thinking the same thing, that you were going to say that. How thousands of people, a couple thousand people maybe, come there, maybe 1,000, I don't remember. It's 41 years ago. Come there to hear an enlightened man. The rain was part of it. Rain was part of the experience. I don't remember a word he said except that, and I remember the rain. And it was a beautiful day. And it was pouring rain out now. And that's how we, my dear ones, can separate ourselves. I don't know why you watch the videos. Are you looking to separate yourself? If you are, fine. Separate yourself from the slaves, the wage slaves. Be a slave to God, an Avid Hashem. You're going to be a slave in one thing or another. So leave Egypt. That's the whole idea of the Pesach. And I was thinking that Pesach, because of the first word of the Mishnah of Pesach is or. And that's what my earlier video was talking about. The or that comes out of the darkness. The breaking through of light from darkness. And I'm experiencing this now. I've been blocked. Blocked from a self. Waiting. Waiting. And that's the whole secret. Supposed to wait for Mashiach. Do your work. Don't expect any reward. And then all of a sudden the heavens will open. And just like in my song, bring down rain. Oh Lord, open up to me. Bring down rain. Rain is the blessing. Good for my hair. Went all over my beard. Beautiful. These are the great secrets. I haven't given up yet. Up at 3 o'clock in the morning to experience 72 minutes before the 72 minutes. I fell asleep after the first 72 minutes. I went back to sleep, woke up. What a bodily experience. So if you really want the energy that I'm talking about, then let's get to it. Otherwise, this is just a show. Do you think I'm spent my whole life to give you a show? I'm interested you find yourself, but I can't find it for you. Each person has a different spark. Now this morning I recognized that the light, the or, is the or of the Ein Sof. And if you find a representative of Hashem better than the sun, the Shemesh, you come and tell me. Sun is always shining. There's other religions with sun gods. What other thing represents God better than the sun? Heat of the sun warms the entire world, circles around you. And the Sitra Achra is only the sun that isn't there. It's the dark. You don't see it. but the sun's still shining. It's the other side, Sitra Akra. And so the ore of the Ein Sof is what breaks through, and then all of a sudden, in this case, because it's the dead of the summer, 72, it's 144 minutes later, or that's 2 hours and 20 minutes later, the sun comes out, peeks through. And then how they count that when it goes down again, they count the first thing of the sun going in, and then the last thing, and that's called Ben Hashamashot. And that's another propitious time when the sun sets. So Judaism is dealing, and then they have midnight. The Hetzot prayers. The whole thing is predicated on light and the sun. But we don't get that. I come from New York City. And that thing I did earlier, all I saw was lights from windows, from buildings, from street lamps. Nothing natural here. That's why it's taken a lifetime to find this stuff. And who's going to help me? Because people are only interested in money, money, money. I had to teach myself to read Hebrew. Nobody helped me. And when you ask a person a question, they actually want, they're not bothered with it. They do their job. I used to go to the 42nd Street Library every day for years. They didn't help me, the librarians. To ask them a question like, what does this word mean? They'd say, look it up. And I knew them well. They didn't help me. Nobody helps you. And that's the way, and basically that's the way it should be. And don't look to anybody for help. It's raining down for you. It's the id, the it. It is raining. Man from heaven. Manna from heaven is coming for you. Food. Rain is coming to wash you. The education ruined us. Sitting in those classrooms, getting a job, being a brassiere salesman, or selling stuffed animals. And I remember, I've said this before, when you pass somebody that you in the street, he's a very rich man. He's also, I see the guys being in a wheelchair. Oh, he's a very rich man. He's dead. So my belief is just go. Go. Be a traveler. That's what a Jew is. 40 years in the desert. You want to be Jewish? Drop it. Drop it. Drop it, Jesse James. Drop it and go. Lech lecha. Go to yourself. Somebody want to go with you? Great. That's a marriage. Not easy to find a woman that wants to go. They like homes and nail salons. Not easy. Anyway, I really hope you wouldn't believe how much I hope you or find what you're looking for.